I'd argue that the kiss between Feyre and Rhysand under the mountain was understandable, considering that Rhysand was doing everything that he needed to do to keep Feyre alive at this point. And while there are many things that I would physically fight this man for, one thing that I have never, ever said he was wrong for was how he handled Under the Mountain in the context of Under the Mountain. Like, him kissing Feyre he did what he had to do to keep them alive. He did what he had to do to take down Amarantha. And while what he did to Feyre was horrific, it wasn't... It's not excusable. It's understandable considering the horrible situation that they were all in. So while a lot of Rhysand haters give him shit for what he did under the mountain, I personally don't, because again, the man was just trying to live. He was just trying to get everybody out from under the mountain. That being said, though, we cannot pretend that Tamlin was not abused by Amarantha as well. Like, just because Tamlin was able to refuse Amarantha doesn't mean that he still wasn't abused by her and harmed by her. Like, probably not as much as Rhysand was, obviously. Like, Rhysand was definitely essayed for decades by Amarantha, but Tamlin was also harmed by her. So Tamlin, like, I also give Tamlin, like, if I'm giving Rhysand the pass of Amarantha, I gotta give Tamlin the pass too. Because I say again, Tamlin and Rhysand are foils. Tamlin and Rhysand are the same. That being said, while I don't blame Rhysand for kissing Feyre under the mountain, while I don't blame him for doing what he needed to do to get everybody out of that situation, I do think having her dance on him for 3 months, even with all of the safeguards that he put in effect, like the paint, like all that stuff, I think that was really icky. Like, if you go far enough back in my TikTok history when I was reading ACOTAR for the first time, I was like, 3 months? That's so unnecessary. I remember so specifically when I was complaining about that because I was waiting for a Mika concert to start and I was sitting in my seat, like, just doing just talking about ACOTAR at that point. And I was just like, for 3 months, you're gonna do that shit for 3 months? That's assault. And he's like, yeah, I put this paint on so you would know I didn't touch you, and I put you would know where I touched you, and I also made you drink something so you wouldn't remember it. Like, it's so icky. And I think the difference between ACOTAR and something like Manacled is that Draco does awful, awful, horrible things to Hermione in Manacled, but when it is ultimately revealed that he's a good person, it doesn't erase the harm that he did. Like he had to do all those things in order to keep Hermione safe, and Hermione was in the safest situation she could possibly be in the horrible situation that both Draco and Hermione were in at the time. But at the same time, though, the things that Draco did haunt them both. It is something that they're going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives. But as soon as Feyre learns the context of Rhysand's behavior under the mountain, as soon as Rhysand as soon as Feyre unlocks his backstory, it's fine. We never mention it again. The PTSD that she has all through Akamath as a result of Rhysand's actions, as a result of Tamlin's behavior, as a result of the horrible things that happened to her at the hands of Amarantha, it's just not mentioned anymore. So it's like, oh, she unlocked the backstory. It's all okay now. But no, his backstory shouldn't erase the harm that had been done. And I think ACOTAR 1, I liked it a lot better. I liked Rhysand in ACOTAR 1 a lot better because Rhysand wasn't trying to excuse away his actions. It was just like, I need to do this in order to keep us alive. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't vibe with you romantically, but I vibe with you as a character. I'm with you logically. And then Akamath happens and chapter 54 happens, and now all of that is just ashes in my mouth, excuses. And at that point, Rhysand starts sucking. Like, it's so weird. Like, I personally had less of a problem with the horrible things that Rhysand did before Rhysand tried to excuse it. Maybe not everybody feels that way, but I certainly feel that way. And his excuses and his reasons don't make what he did to Feyre not assault, you know?